Hi, welcome back to my Intro to Python tutorial. So today we're going to be talking about generators and yield. One of the things we did last video was calculate the average age of a list of people. So last video we talked about classes and objects. So we have a class person. Person has some various properties. They've got a name, height, weight, age. So we make some people, chuck them in a list. And again, because we have this repr function or representation, it shows us we have a list of a person called Joe, person called Daniel, person called Sally. And if we wanted to find the average age, this is one way to do it. Keep track of the total age, keep track of the number of people, and divide total age by number of people. And we see the average age is 36.33. So there's got to be a better way to do that, right? You don't want to have to iterate through the whole list. Iterate means go over the list and do something for each item. So you don't want to have to iterate over the whole list, and there is a better way to do it. So Python lets us do this. This says, give me a list which contains person.age for each person in people. Now this could be X. So basically it's saying, go through the list people, give each element a variable name, and do this to that variable. So I'll change this back to person because it's a little bit easier to understand. So here, it's telling me I have an error, but I don't think I do. I don't. Here, what we're saying is, give me a list of the ages, print out the ages, print the sum of the ages divided by the length of the ages. So instead of asking for a full list, we could ask for a generator. And the difference between a generator and a list is if we ask for a list, Python will go through and do this for every single element in the list. If we had 10 million elements in the list, it's going to do this thing. Now, this thing could be a function call. It could be quite computationally expensive. You might only want to do it when you're asked for the age. So when you actually use the age. So a generator defers that calculation. It just says, yep, I know what you want me to do, and it stops there. And until we ask for next of the generator, so first time it's going to give us 180, then 173, then 184, because if we look at our heights, they were 180, 173, 184. So it allows you to defer that calculation. Sometimes you want to do that. Especially if you're looking for the first instance of something, to say, is there somebody over 2 meters? Then you might use a generator. So you can turn a generator into a list quite easily, just by asking for the list of the generator. And generators are pretty tightly coupled with the concept of yielding. So you can make your own generator by defining a function that has a yield statement. So here we can see the function says while true. So this is just going to go on forever. If this didn't say yield here and we ran it, then it would continue computing forever and it would never stop. But what it'll do with the yield statement is the first time it hits it, it'll return A, and then it'll wait. And the next time it's called, it'll continue from there. So when we create the doubler, we'll pass in the value of A. And then while true, we'll double A and then yield it. So each time we run next-D, so it starts as 2 because the first time through we do double it. If we had the yield above, it'd start as 1, so we can show that. Oh, and then when we go next, it'd be 2, 4, 8. So then each time we call next-D, it gets doubled. So we define a function with a yield statement. We grab ourselves an instance of that generator, and then we call next on that generator over and over to get the next thing. So if we do that 10 times, we get something like this out. So generator and yield are handy for delaying the execution until you actually need it, which is something that Python encourages, because it means that you don't go off and do all of this early execution, called eager execution. You delay it until later so that if you don't need to do it at the end of the day, you haven't wasted time, and that's called lazy execution. So that's pretty much the end of the Intro to Python tutorial series. Well done. Keep an eye out for the Intro to Data Science tutorial series that's coming out next, where we'll look at Pandas and NumPy and some of the basic concepts of data science. See you there.